I wish I could pinpoint the exact moment I started suspecting my wife was having an affair. Maybe it was the day she walked in late from work with that guilty half smile, or the night she stayed out for a friend's birthday and never bothered to check in. But the truth is, suspicion doesn't arrive fully formed. It creeps in slowly, weaving its way into your mind until you can't ignore it anymore. My name is Ethan Barlow. I'm 40, living in a suburban stretch of Aurora, Illinois with my wife, Ashley, and we've been together for 10 years, married for 7. No kids, though we've talked about it on and off. We always said we'd focus on our careers first. She's a marketing manager for a trendy startup downtown, and I run an IT consulting company from home. We used to joke about being power couple goals, but lately, we've been anything but. For a while, I noticed little changes. A new perfume that felt too expensive for every day. A passcode change on her phone after years of using a shared code. A sudden interest in working late more frequently. She started wearing stylish outfits on random weekdays and not for our date nights. Rare as they were nowadays, I tried brushing it off. Maybe she was aiming for a promotion, dressing to impress her bosses. Still, the gut feeling tugged at me. One evening, she was in the shower and her phone buzzed on the dresser. The screen showed a message preview. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Love you." I recognized no name, just a heart emoji as a contact icon. A cold wave of panic. My heart thundered. Could it be a misunderstanding? A weird text from a friend? But "love you" was pretty unmistakable. The immediate sense of betrayal crashed over me. I put her phone down, hands trembling. By the time she stepped out in her robe, I forced myself to calm down, deciding to wait until I had more proof. Confronting her with half evidence might lead to a denial or worse, a destroyed chance of the truth. My mind spun for days. She carried her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. When I asked gentle questions, she deflected. "Just busy times at work, or it's personal stuff with my friend, don't worry about it." But I wasn't convinced. A week after that suspicious text, I found a receipt on the kitchen counter from a fancy restaurant in the city, definitely not a place she and I had ever visited. The date matched the night she claimed to be in the office until 9 p.m. I decided to take a more direct route. I followed her. I'm not proud of it. But when she left one Thursday evening for a team-building dinner, I hopped in my car and trailed her from a distance. She drove to a boutique hotel on the outskirts of downtown. Parked. Waited in her car for maybe 10 minutes and then a man approached. Tall, well-dressed, maybe mid-30s. She opened the passenger door. He slid in. They laughed about something. She leaned over, my wife, the woman I've loved for a decade, and kissed him. Blood roared in my ears. I snapped a few photos from behind the tinted windows, my stomach twisting. They then both went inside the hotel, arms around each other. I just sat there, numb. The final shred of doubt vanished. She was cheating. I managed to drive home, half in a daze. The next morning she returned, claiming she'd been busy at an after-party. I stayed quiet, letting her spin whatever lies she had. But inside, I was a powder keg. By Sunday night, I couldn't hold it in any longer. We were in the living room, her on the couch scrolling social media, me pretending to watch a football game. My palms were clammy, pulse racing. Finally, I muted the TV. Me, forcing calm. "Ashley, can we talk for a minute?" She glanced up, frowning slightly. "Sure," she said, clicking her phone screen off. Me, "Where were you Thursday night?" Her eyes darted away. "Told you, office dinner, then a friend's place." I swallowed, voice tightening. "Stop lying, Ashley. I followed you. I know about the hotel. I saw you with him." She froze, color draining from her face. The flicker of panic told me everything. She realized the G was up. Then her expression hardened. "Ashley, quietly. You followed me. That's insane, Ethan." "Me? Insane? Is that all you have to say about it? How about an explanation for what you've been doing?" She started to protest. "I can't believe you'd invade my privacy." Me, cutting her off. "Don't spin this on me. You're the one sneaking him around. Who is he?" She exhaled sharply, eyes dropping. "His name's Cameron. He's someone from the office. It just happened. We didn't mean to." Rage clenched my chest. "Don't say it just happened. You made a choice." She wrung her hands. "Fine. I made a choice. I've been unhappy, Ethan. We're stuck in a routine. I needed something else." I stood, fists balled. "That's your excuse for lying to my face, cheating on me for months, because you were bored." Her eyes flashed with anger, possibly guilt. "I'm not proud of it, but it's not just boredom. I feel suffocated. You never listen to me, never support my ambitions." I could hardly process her attempt to shift blame. "I'd have supported anything you wanted if you had the decency to talk about it first. Instead, you ran into his arms." She glared back, tears forming. "I'm sorry," she whispered finally. "I didn't know how to tell you I was unhappy." Me, "Well, you sure found a way to show it. Silence stretched. She sank into the couch, sobbing quietly. Anger, heartbreak, a weird sense of finality coursed through me. After a moment, I turned to the door. Me? I'm going out. I can't look at you right now. I left her crying on the couch, every cell in my body pulsing with betrayal. 4. The aftermath. Days blurred. She slept in the guest room. I stayed in the master. Tension filled the house. She apologized multiple times, but each apology fell hollow. She claimed it was over with Cameron, that she'd broken it off. But I couldn't trust her word. My mind replayed the hotel scene. Them in that car, her laughing at some joke, then strolling inside like I never existed. I debated leaving, but part of me still loved her, or at least the version I thought I knew. Another part fumed, wanting her to suffer, to see what it's like when I withdraw. The emotional swirl left me exhausted. We coexisted in the same home, awkwardly dividing chores, avoiding each other. One evening, she tried cooking my favorite meal as a peace offering. I sat at the table, tasting almost nothing. She forced a smile. I want to fix this, she said softly. I really do. I looked up, bitterness seeping into my voice. And how do you plan to do that? By continuing to sneak around, or by telling me I'm the reason you cheated? She teared up, no reply. The meal ended in silence. 5. Immediately with the lover. Despite everything, a boiling urge surfaced. I needed to confront Cameron. Maybe it was pride, maybe I wanted to see if he'd confirm her story. So one afternoon I drove to the building where they both worked, waiting near the parking lot. Sure enough, he emerged around 5:30 p.m. carrying a briefcase. Tall, well-groomed, smug. My anger flared again. I approached him directly. Me, voice tight. Cameron, right? He blinked, then recognized me. Ethan, he said carefully, glancing around. Look, man. Me, spare me. I just want to know. Are you still seeing her? He frowned. No, he said, shifty eyes. She ended it. I swear, I'm sorry for the trouble we caused. It got out of hand. A pause. She told me she was leaving you anyway, that your marriage was basically over. I scowled. She lied. Our marriage wasn't over until you shoved your way in. He tried to speak, but I held up a hand. Stay out of our lives, got it? If I see you near her again. He backed away. I get it, man. I'm out. A flicker of fear crossed his face. Maybe he thought I'd swing at him. But I just spat on the pavement and turned on my heel. The confrontation felt hollow. It was just a symptom. The real disease was in my marriage, a rotted foundation of broken trust. Sticks. The reconing at home. When I returned, Ashley was in the kitchen. She turned off the stove and asked, "Where'd you go?" I told her, her face paled. You confronted him? Me? Yes. I needed answers. He confirmed you ended it. Congratulations. She flinched at the sarcasm. I told you it was over. Why can't you just believe me? Me. Because you lied for months. Why should I trust anything now? She fell silent, tears brimming. Then her voice a whisper. I deserve that. I'm sorry. She tried to reach for my hand. I pulled back. Me? Don't. I'm done with empty apologies. Either show me you're committed to fixing this or don't. Words mean nothing. She dropped her gaze, nodding. I'll do whatever it takes, she said softly. Therapy, changing jobs if I have to, anything. I stared at her, my emotions swirling. Fine. Set it up. But don't expect me to just revert to normal. True to her word, she scheduled a marriage counseling session. Part of me resented her for forcing me into therapy when I was the wrong one. Yet I also realized if we had any shot, it would require guidance. Our first session was awkward. The counselor asked us each to describe what we wanted from the other. She talked about feeling suffocated, needing excitement, needing to feel alive. I spoke about loyalty, respect, not being treated like a doormat. The counselor said trust was pivotal to rebuild. We left that day not feeling magically healed, but perhaps less antagonistic. In subsequent sessions, Ashley revealed she'd been struggling with depression, that her work environment had changed, that she felt I wasn't supporting her emotionally. I admitted maybe I got complacent, focusing more on my own routines than on her emotional health. We fought, we cried, we dissected the affair, each of us feeling raw. Meanwhile, we still shared a house, albeit with a distance that lingered at bedtime. Occasionally, we had a fleeting moment of closeness, like when we spontaneously laughed over a silly memory from the early days. But mostly, it was tense politeness. 8. A friend's advice. One evening, my best friend Marcus dropped by. Over a beer on my porch, I vented, I don't know if I can truly forgive her, no matter how sorry she seems. He nodded. No one can decide that for you. But ask yourself, do you want to stay together because you see a future that's worth the struggle, or because you're afraid of starting over? The question echoed in me for days. Was I just clinging to the past? Or could we forge something new? Therapy continued. We tackled tough conversations, how she'd broken my heart, how I'd neglected certain emotional cues. The counselor guided us to either rebuild or realize it was over. Slowly, the hostility receded. She seemed genuinely remorseful, no longer making excuses. She shared passcodes to her phone, cut ties with questionable contacts, changed her routine so we could have more shared time. I too tried to open up more about my feelings, letting her see the depth of the pain. We started cooking meals together again, taking small walks. We talk about random topics, new movies, silly online articles, not always the heavy stuff. A cautious companionship emerged, but the affair's shadow still loomed. One night, after a decent therapy session, we sat on the living room couch, a foot apart. She whispered, "Do you think we have a chance, Ethan?" I exhaled. "I don't know," I said, "but if we do, it's going to take a lot more than just words. We have to be different people, both of us." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "I'm willing to do that." It's been months since I'd first discovered her affair. We're still together, surprisingly. The process is excruciating, but we made a conscious choice. Try wholeheartedly or separate for good. Some days I feel hopeful. She's been consistent, showing real changes, being open, checking in about how I'm feeling, letting me process at my own pace without rushing me to get over it. Other days, I can't look at her without picturing her with Cameron. Trust is fragile. I see that now. The affair proved that illusions can vanish in an instant. But if there's a sliver of genuine love left, and perhaps there is, we might salvage a new, more honest relationship. Or we might fail. At least we're confronting it rather than ignoring it. So here we are, a couple in flux, trying to build something new from the wreckage of deceit. No easy answers, no guaranteed success. I'm discovering that forgiveness, if it happens, is less about her and more about me deciding I won't let this define me forever. She, for her part, is grappling with the guilt and her own reasons for straying. We share the house, share moments, share our vulnerabilities in counseling sessions. Whether it's enough to rekindle true partnership, time will tell. For now, I hold on to the possibility that maybe we can create a different kind of marriage. One more authentic, free from the complacency that made her stray. If that fails, at least I'll know we tried. If we succeed, perhaps we'll look back on this as a brutal but transformative chapter. No matter how it ends, I've learned a few things. I deserve respect. I can survive betrayal and honesty. Above all, must be the foundation. She broke that once. Maybe she won't again. Or maybe I'll decide it's not worth the pain. But in this moment, we take it day by day. She's lying in bed upstairs, waiting for me to join her, probably anxious about tomorrow's therapy. I'm here, finishing this story, feeling a strange mix of dread and optimism. Because sometimes, out of the darkest revelations, we find a path to either let go or rebuild stronger than before. And whichever path we end up on, I'm determined not to lose myself again.